Well, they have many faces and jobs. Some collect trash in Peru, for example, or they advise small businesses in Colombia. Some help to provide villages in India with electricity, or they assist troubled families here in Germany. Or they tried to prevent a downtown from falling into total chaos. And that brings us to the South African Taffy Adler. Now, he's building apartments in a place where few choose to live anymore, downtown Johannesburg, one of the most dangerous places in the entire country. We have his story.
Hillbrow was once renowned for its elegant bars. Nowadays, this inner-city district in Johannesburg is notorious for its crime rates. This man wants to change all that. Taffy Adler. He created the Johannesburg Housing Company to provide affordable accommodation for the very poor.
Going into Hillbrow, showing that we could purchase buildings at rock-bottom prices, develop them and make them into going commercial concerns, was a risk that no other entrepreneurial grouping was willing to take.
Back in the 90s, after apartheid, hundreds of thousands of black South Africans left their townships for life in the city. And in Johannesburg, white residents fled to the suburbs. The result was social flashpoints. Today, Taffy Adler has 24 buildings with some 3,000 affordable flats. He feels responsible for the welfare of his residents. And if there's a problem, Taffy and his staff take care of things personally.
When it is a heavy rain, it's raining.
Yeah.
This is starting to leak. It's a question about the rain.
And where does it come from?
From the second floor. It's coming from the second floor. Where's the waterproofing there?
Yeah. So the problem is around the water seeping. Okay, well, let's go and have a look at that. Okay.
7 years ago, this building was completely run down. Taffy Adler took on the challenge of renovating it and created cheap living space where the affluent once resided.
I mean, the bucket doesn't look good. This used to be 5-star. This used to be a 5-star hotel. I'm sure they didn't have buckets at those times. But how do we go? We can go through.
And on the second floor, babies, not rich businessmen.
Hello, sweetie.
Hello.
Taffy wants to offer his lodgers more than just a roof over their heads. In many of his houses, there are daycare facilities for kids.
How many kids have you had in the creche this year?
Plus, minus, 45, 50.
Okay, and they're all from this area?
Yeah, some from the same building and surroundings.
The cost is included in the rent. Everyone is to grow up in safety and security.
This is going to be a challenge. It's going to take us 10 years. Slowly acquiring buildings, slowly bringing in other building owners, slowly involving the merchants in the area, involving the taxi owners, and trying to create not only safety and security in this building, but safety and security in the area. And not many other organizations have that as their mission.
His company earned the equivalent of €7 million in rents last year, enough to cover the overheads and pay a 50-strong staff. Credits, sponsorship money and public grants are used to purchase new buildings and to expand. This recent acquisition, Crest Hill, has a dismal history.
Crest Hill was the center of drug running. It was the center of a whole range of criminal activity, a number of shebeens operated in the area, a number of brothels operated in the building. And it was known as a place where even the police wouldn't go unless there were large numbers.
After he invested in the Hillbrow district, real estate prices shot up some 300%, and even some whites returned.
People say whites are scared to be in Hillbrow.
Whites? Well, I'm one white that isn't.
That isn't. Well, that's great. And you're finding Crest Hill fine, you're finding the accommodation good, you're finding the caretaker works well?
I feel like yes, very nice.
Okay.
It's very supportive as well, and you know, if I ask for things to get done, they get done immediately. I just feel like I belong here.
Yeah, Echo 2 come for Echo 5.
Security guards protect his houses around the clock. The police, he says, are unreliable. And he pins some blame on the authorities for allowing areas like Hillbrow to become run down. But there's also good news. Other housing associations are following his example and are revamping their buildings.
It's such a great feeling to see another institution actually doing up the building, bringing it under management, and you can just see the difference between it and the building next door, and it's going to make a great contribution, and it just adds to the snowballing effect of what's going to happen to the neighborhood as a whole.
Like neighborhood soccer. Every week, teams representing his houses compete against each other, helping to strengthen their sense of togetherness and safety.
That's the problem.
But Taffy himself has also gone through a few changes.
That's the problem.
I used to be a trade union organizer against management. I now find myself a manager. I now find myself running an organization with people reporting to me, and essentially being quite intrigued by the power of capital and by the ability of the capitalist financial system to get a whole range of things done.
And he hasn't finished yet. Some 1,000 low-cost apartments will soon be built on this wasteland, with hopes for a bright future for the lodges and their neighborhood.